In our home, you earned your bed each night through academic performance, or you slept on the floor. I woke up on the hardwood floor of my bedroom at 5:30 in the morning with my spine aching and my neck stiff. The thin blanket I was allowed to use had twisted around my legs during the night, and my left arm had gone numb from being pressed against the floor for hours. My younger brother Eli was asleep in his bed across the room, the thick comforter pulled up to his chin, his pillow looking soft and inviting. He'd earned his bed last night by scoring 98 on his biology test. I'd gotten an 87 on my algebra exam, which was below the 90 threshold our parents required. So I slept on the floor. This was normal in our house. It had been normal for 3 years, ever since I turned 11, and Dad decided we were old enough to understand that comfort was a privilege you earned through excellence. I stood up slowly, my joints cracking, and looked at my bed. The mattress sat empty, sheets pulled tight, pillows arranged neatly, mocking me. Dad had been a high school dropout who worked construction until he injured his back and had to take disability. Mom had barely graduated with a 2.1 GPA and worked retail jobs that never lasted more than a few months. They both talked constantly about how their lives would have been different if they'd been better students, if they'd worked harder, if they'd cared more about grades. They watched documentaries about successful people and noticed every single one had been a strong student. Dad would pause the video and say, "See that? Straight A student. That's the difference between success and failure." Mom would nod and add, "Education is the only thing that matters. Everything else is just excuses." So when my oldest sister Kara turned 10, they implemented the system. You earned your bed through academic achievement. Anything below a 90 on a test meant floor sleeping until you brought your grades back up. Missing homework assignments meant floor sleeping. Poor effort meant floor sleeping. The system was designed to motivate us, Dad said, to teach us that comfort came from hard work and excellence. Kara slept on the floor so often during her first year under the system that she developed chronic back problems by age 12. She'd wake up crying from the pain, but Dad said that just proved the system was working. She needed to try harder. She eventually learned to maintain straight A's through sheer terror of sleeping on the floor. Now she was 17 and heading to college next year with a full academic scholarship. Dad loved to tell people about Kara's success, how his parenting methods had created a brilliant daughter. He never mentioned that Kara barely spoke to any of us anymore, that she spent all her time studying in the library to avoid being home, that she developed an anxiety disorder so severe she had panic attacks before every test. My other sister Bree was 15 and had also learned to maintain the grades necessary to keep her bed. She studied until midnight most nights, surviving on energy drinks and sheer willpower. Eli was 12 and naturally gifted at school, so he rarely slept on the floor. Then there was me, 14 years old, struggling with math and dreading every school day. That morning, I went downstairs for breakfast and found Dad already at the kitchen table with his laptop open. He tracked all our grades through the school portal, checking multiple times per day for updated scores. He looked up when I walked in and said, "Your algebra teacher posted the exam results. 87. What happened?" I poured cereal into a bowl and said, "I studied for 3 hours. The test was just really hard." Dad closed his laptop with a sharp click. "Studying isn't about hours. It's about effectiveness. You obviously didn't study correctly if you only got an 87. That's a B+. We don't accept B+ in this house." Mom came in from the laundry room and added, "You know the rules, excellence or consequences. It's not complicated." I sat at the table and ate my cereal in silence, while Dad explained that I'd need to retake the unit test and score at least a 95 to earn my bed back. Until then, floor sleeping. Kara came downstairs dressed for school, looking exhausted. She'd been up until 2 hours working on a research paper. She grabbed a granola bar and left without saying anything to anyone. At school, I couldn't focus during English class because my back hurt so much from sleeping on the floor. The teacher called on me to answer a question about the reading homework, and that's when things took a turn I never expected. To see the full story, click the link below or go on my channel.